guys and girls, and welcome to another episode of Kook Shed. Now it's been a while since I've made a video to upload. I'm still sort of sorting out my studio where I'm going to film, fit these boards in and work on some videos. So, and I've also just been busy because of this time of year where I am. So yeah, sorry about that, but I've had heaps of people asking me about the Glazer. In one of my other videos, the Glazer was featured, and people are asking me, do a review on the Glazer. How's your Glazer go? Rah, 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 rah. So I haven't really ridden it much because of the wave conditions at the moment. It's summer here, and I sort of wanted to ride it in some more wintry waves before I gave a full review on it. But I've taken it out a few times and tried it in some different sort of waves, and I got some really nice waves the other day on it, so I thought, well, I think that'll be enough to give you an idea on how the board goes. Now, for those of you who may not know, this is a Rob Machado board, designed by Rob Machado and his friend, he was Todd Glazer. I might not be pronouncing that right, but yeah, they've called this the Glazer, and basically it's sort of an evolved biscuit. Rob had a really nice board a while back with Channel Islands, Almeric, and that was a biscuit, and that was really successful. And I feel this board sort of has a similar approach. Sort of see, you've got a nice high wide point up here, very cruisy sort of outline, similar to I think it's very similar to a Hypto Crypto style shape. A lot of width up the front, down to a sort of a rounded pin at the back for manoeuvrability. It's constructed, as far as I know, it's only available in Lft Construction, it's called, by Firewire. So basically Firewire have come up with a few different types of construction for their boards. I feel that they are doing a great job. Firewire are doing a really good job on the construction of their boards. This one, Lft, is basically, there's a stringer in the middle, a springer they call it. It's like a composite material, like a sort of like carbon space sort of type springy material. They claim that acts like a stringer. You can even see it through the deck skin of the board in certain lights. Which brings me to the deck skin. They wrap these foam blanks with a resin. So basically it's like a performance oriented tough light, I guess. I don't really use that term, but that's the best way to describe how they're making it. It's not tough light, it performs much better in my opinion, but it's durable. It's not going to ding as easily as the older style boards, or some epoxy boards that you sort of just press on in a surf shop and you put marks in them. These are quite resilient. Very cool board. I love the way it felt as soon as I put it under my arm. There's some boards that you put them under your arm and suddenly they just click with you. Felt really good to paddle. Great, really easy to paddle. It's got quite a flat entry level rocker. So you're not pushing much water, and you can get into waves quite easily. I just really love the all-round approach this board has. It can attack most waves. It's definitely not a groveler. I found if you're going to grovel, like surf really small mushy waves, this will do it, but I don't believe that's what it's intended for. If you're going to ride those sort of conditions, maybe try something else like a baked potato or a twice baked or something like that, that's sort of more designed for the mush. This thing seems to want to go a bit bigger and hollower. It's good out on the open face, but I just it's got enough nose lift to sort of stay in the pocket, work in the pocket. He has designed it as an all-round board, but I find that I prefer to use this in, say, 3 to 5 foot and a little bit pockety. It'll go great on an open wall for sure too, like a point break. But yeah, for me and what my quiver, or all the other boards I've got, this one I like it in sort of pockety waves with a bit of punch, and yeah, it's great fun. I guess you could compare it to, it's because it's made by Rob, it's got this a flow about it. It feels really good. If you've already had some of Rob Machado's boards, you might know what I'm talking about. He designs boards a little differently than some of the other board designers out there, and his boards really they like a smooth, flowy approach to riding a wave. Not so much aggressive. It just like the Seaside, similar, very similar. Think of the approach of riding this board to the Seaside. Just very nice, flowy lines. I've ridden. He had an almond butter as well. Rob Machado had an almond butter. And there was the Channel Islands biscuit. He's had a few others in between. But I've ridden the Seaside. You'll see in the other videos I've got a Seaside review. So this follows along those lines. Nice. It likes to flow with the wave, just like Rob's style of riding. So that's a bit of a no-brainer. So if you like that style of riding, maybe just a bit less aggressive, a bit more mellower lines, this board's really going to click with you. It's got a lot of speed. I found, yeah, pumping it down the line, it just took off. It could be to do with the materials. It could also be to do with the quite pronounced channels underneath. He's very interested in working with the flow of water underneath his boards, and he's come up with quite a functional approach. Basically, it's a deep double concave, basically, with a couple of twists. But yeah, it grabs that water, flows it out the back really fast, and this thing takes off. The LFT is quite light construction, not as light as Helium. The Helium construction by Firewire, it's not as light as that. But I find that's better, especially if there's a little bit of bump on the waves. Yeah, this isn't as bothered by that as Helium. Helium can seem a bit chattery if there's a bit of bump on the wave. So yeah, it's sort of in the middle of the density of the TimberTech and the lightness of the Helium. So, and he's only released it in this this material. So he's tried all the others and found that this works best in the waves he rides with this, etc., etc. So the fins, these fins actually were designed for this board. They're a thruster. He's only made this board available as a thruster. Some of the other boards that come out, they'll have a 5-fin option, whereas he made this one because he made the Seaside as a designated quad. He's made this one as a designated thruster with 3 fins. And so I went out and got the fins that he recommended, and they're great. They're really loose. I'm not really technical with my fins at all. I'm learning, but I'm not too qualified to sort of get into the really detailed areas of fins. But I found they were really cool. They sort of gave me that fish feel, sort of like the Seaside. But like I said, not too qualified to answer it, but I had other fins in there before that, and they were just some basic ones that I just had laying around that would fit the board, and they didn't seem to cut it. These guys seem to work really well with it. They just make riding this board a really pleasant experience. There's many times I finished a wave and was just grinning ear to ear. It just makes things easy. It's very easy to ride. It's a very approachable sort of board, if that makes sense. Like I said, you put it under your arm, it just feels good, and once you're on the wave it feels even better. One thing I might say though is make sure you get the right volume for you. There was a guy out there when I was riding this, he had one, but he'd gone a little bit big, a little bit on the bigger side, and he found it a bit too boaty. It could be this material because it floats so well, but he sort of wished that he went a little bit smaller because it felt a bit too boaty for him. And I know what he's talking about. It's not a groveler, so you don't go too big. This one 5'8", but yeah, that's just one thing I'd keep in mind. It's more for the performancey days, so yeah, keep the size down as much as possible while still being quite easy for you to paddle, etc. Of course, but it paddles really well anyway, so I think you can go quite short. Look, I've tried to throw in as much as I can. I'm trying to make it a quick one. I do sort of tend to ramble on, but that's Kook Shed. That's what I do. So that's the channel. But yeah, generally all I can say is really fun board. I'm really happy with it. It may even be a new favourite board for me, just because I've had that much fun. When the waves start turning on a little bit more, and this thing really can get up and go, it's quite a nice board. Bring a smile to your face. So basically, if you're watching this review so that you can decide whether to get one or not, well, I'm telling you, yeah, I'll go grab one. Especially if you like that nice, smooth, flowy style of surfing that Rob is famous for. This board will assist you in riding in an approach similar to him. Especially with the fins. Matching the fins to the board, highly recommended as well. Okay, well look, that's it for now. If you've got other questions about the board, just leave a comment. If it's been helpful, if this video's been helpful, hit like, let me know. If you didn't like the review, if it wasn't helpful, if you want to hit dislike, well, maybe just go for a surf instead. I've got a couple more videos coming up soon, guys, so sorry about the delay, and thanks for dropping in. I'll see you next time on Kook Shed. Catch up.